Well, hey everybody, this is my review, look back upon the last WWE SmackDown show that will emanate from the Thunderdome. Now, this is not the final WWE Thunderdome show, because that was going to be on Monday Night Raw the following Monday from this particular Friday Night SmackDown that I'm looking at. But I decided to review SmackDown's final Thunderdome appearance because Thunderdome debuted on SmackDown. So it debuted on SmackDown. This will be its final SmackDown appearance, not its final WWE appearance. But also SmackDown kind of has the, in my opinion, more compelling storylines at the moment, and it's just a more fun show to talk about, presently speaking. So before I start specifically discussing the episode, let me share my thoughts on the Thunderdome, which debuted during the pandemic as a result of the pandemic, of course. They did WrestleMania, you may recall, with absolutely no audience. It was awkward. Then they brought in some, I guess they're trainees to kind of fill in the area, and they can clap and cheer, and they actually would use, I thought it was smart, they used cutaways and showed reaction shots of these people, when a big move happened, and I didn't mind that so much. I understood what was going on. And then they came up with the Thunderdome, which on its debut, which was a Friday Night SmackDown, and I should have done my research and looked up when it was, but it was sometime last year, 2020. Anyway, initial reaction was wow. Visually, very impressive, especially when it debuted. They had a lot of extra lights and bells and whistles, and it just was, compared to what we've been seeing with a handful of live people watching the Raw and SmackDowns, all of a sudden this was like, wow, like a shock to our senses. Very impressive. The rows of screens being spaced out in the arena. And it looked best when they kind of did like a wide shot or kind of an angle of the ring, and you really could see that depth. From the standard straight on hard cam shot, it didn't make a huge difference, but it added to the visual presentation for sure. The one thing I could not stand is the fake crowd noise. And I get if that's all they could do, but you could tell it was canned crowd noise. You could tell it was phony. And, I thought maybe there's a way they could have all these virtual fans have their microphones on and clap and cheer. And I'm sure they're worried about some, idiot using foul language or something. But I figured they had so many people that would just come across like, a murmur or a roar, or maybe they're worried that they would be too quiet. So I understand the need for the fake crowd. I'm just not a fan of it. Like when they added fake crowd noise for 2020's Backlash match between Edge and Randy Orton, and that was the only match they did it on for the whole event. It was awkward. It's weird. Wrestling it's presented almost more like a TV show than a sporting event. I get all that. And so why not have fake noise, fake fans for a fake sport? It just, I don't know. I like the more organic crowd noise. But I get that's what they had to do, I suppose. But I'll just jump right into this episode. When Roman first comes out, he's quiet, and they have a Roman sucks chant going for the longest time. Now, that's WWE fabricating that, When we get back to live crowds, will the live crowd do that? They hope so. I think they're actually doing this to try to condition the fans what you should say next week when we're back to being live. But whatever. Visually, it looked cool. Just the fake crowd noise, I was not a fan of. But then, you watch AEW, and they would have a handful of other wrestlers or unsigned talent in ringside clapping and cheering, and that still added something to it. It was still a live, noise. They're immediately reacting to what's happening. I love that. NXT brought back live fans back October, and by the time they did Stand and Deliver Takeover this past spring during WrestleMania week, they had even more fans. And the last few months at NXT, they've had a pretty decent sized crowd for NXT tapings, and it's better, and I understand it's a pandemic, and they're being cautious, and I applaud them for that. But I almost wish they did a hybrid, like a small amount of live fans along with the virtual fans, and the live fans would create some live loud noise. But anyway, I'll move on. So SmackDown opens. They've been using this AC/DC song as their theme. I really like it. It's a cool song. It's not even, I don't think it's a recent AC/DC song, but to me, I now associate it with SmackDown. They've been using it consistently since SmackDown debuted on Fox. I like that. Then, like I said, we start with heel Roman coming out, addressing the crowd. That's some backstage bits setting all this up. Heel Roman. Let's talk about heel Roman. Heel Roman has been great for Roman Reigns, his character, his career. They were resisting making him heel for the longest time. Maybe when they finally pulled the trigger, and it, in my opinion, has worked. We'll find out for sure when in front of live crowds. He's that silent treatment. He just kind of gives a look. He talks quietly. He's like, he's the cool, in charge guy. I like it. I know as a heel, you're not supposed to quote like it, but as someone reviewing a wrestling program, I like this character, heel Roman. I think it's going to get to a point he may not even need Heyman, but for now, the pairing of him and Heyman works. Alrighty, then we have Michael Cole and Pat McAfee as our commentators. A lot of people don't care for Michael Cole. I think Michael Cole does great for what he is expected to do by the WWE. He is like the ideal WWE announcer. He hits all the announcements he's supposed to make, the lead-ins, the sponsors he's supposed to mention. He's a pro. He does it great. I know some people don't care for him, but if you think about it through the WWE's eyes, I'm sure they love him. And then there's Pat McAfee. I remember seeing him on some of the NXT pre-shows, and I got to admit, he kind of annoyed me a little bit. Which, when they brought him in NXT to actually work a wrestling program at Adam Cole, I thought it was great because he was playing the heel. I go, this guy is naturally unlikable. He's perfect for a heel. Now, as a commentator, he's one of those that kind of leans towards the heel, but not 100%, And I must say, I am thoroughly impressed with him as a wrestling commentator. Him and Cole mesh well. I think he's doing good. That's all I can say. Keep up the good work, Mr. McAfee. I think as far as a pro wrestling commentator, you're good. So they got the Uso family is involved with Roman Reigns. He's at the table. Yada yada. I assume if you're listening to this, you're a wrestling fan, you kind of know what's going on. And at the end of this opening segment, they all hugged and made up. They're friends for now. I stress for now because you just know it's wrestling. There's going to be twists and turns in the storyline, and at least I hope there is. I kind of like it. I like this compelling storyline. It kind of keeps me interested week to week. Are the Usos going to get along with Roman? Are they going to get along individually? Will there be a split? Right now, they're all hugged. They're all a unit for now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. Then moving on, we have the Baron Corbin storyline. Now this I actually find interesting. I've never really hated Corbin like people have. I actually really liked it when he was the Constable back on Raw, and he wore the vest, and he was kind of like the general manager type character. I really enjoyed his work during that period. What's going on here? Okay, so Nakamura has become the king, and Corbin's fallen on hard times. But I feel like, and I don't know if they're doing this on purpose or not, but he's almost becoming a sympathetic character. I find myself feeling sorry for him. I don't know if they're setting this up for a double turn where Nakamura is going to become a heel and Corbin will become a sympathetic babyface. That's the way it feels to me, but currently in WWE, they've been doing this weird thing where faces do a lot of heelish things. What I mean is, like, traditionally in wrestling, like, you know, cheating to win. I mean, I know this is a SmackDown topic, but like when Kofi pinned Bobby Lashley, it was because McIntyre interfered and helped Kofi win. And they're all supposed to be the faces. Like, it just, I don't understand this current trend in WWE where faces are acting like heels. And, you know, that's kind of what's going on in Nakamura. If it's done on purpose and they're doing a slow double turn, I think that's great. If they're not, and Corbin's supposed to be a heel, he better start healing it up. Because right now, he's, you know, coming across as a sympathetic character. And there's that. And then tonight on this episode of SmackDown, they announced there's going to be a mystery opponent. And it said, quote, never before seen in the WWE. Never before seen in the WWE. This kind of had me intrigued. It turns out to be Shotzi and Nox. Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox from NXT. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't NXT a WWE property? It's another brand from WWE. You know, they had, a few years ago, they had them competing on the same level at Survivor Series with Raw and SmackDown. Their Twitter handle is at WWE NXT. These are not people who have never been seen in WWE. They should have said never before seen on SmackDown. So I felt that was kind of a letdown. It was nice to see them on the main roster. Will they remain on the main roster? We'll see. But I don't know. Odd booking, odd promoting, I guess. A team never before seen in WWE, yet I just saw them last week on WWE's program called NXT. Whatever. They announced Bayley is injured. I guess Carmella's in, Bayley's out. Some people online speculated whether this is legit or a storyline. I'm assuming it's legit. So hopefully, unfortunately, it sounds like Bayley will be out for a long time. Wish her luck in her comeback. A sideline injury during training too, not even like during a match, since they aren't even doing house shows at the moment. But I must say, with Bayley being out, there's a lot of options here. Because they have Carmella came out, they have Liv Morgan came out. She had like an issue with Carmella, and Bianca came out. So we have this we have Bianca, Liv Morgan, and Carmella. A lot of options there. You know, we have Liv Morgan versus Bianca at some point. Liv Morgan and Carmella seem to have a beef. That's like a new feud. They're lighting the fuse with. Bianca, could have a triple threat between all three at some point. Unfortunately, Bayley's out, but I like what they're doing here and kind of mixing it up, and lots of different matchups we can have within the women's division now that Liv Morgan's getting a little bit more of a push. Then they had Seth versus Cesaro. We've seen them wrestle often lately, but it's always a good match. So I can't really complain. And it was another great match between these two. This was one of those rare matches that I couldn't really predict who would win, because to me it was a toss-up, because I could see the winner would go on to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and I could see either one of these guys being inserted in that match. I kind of expected Cesaro to win, and then Seth would be put in some other match at the pay-per-view, because he's, a top performer, because we kind of felt like a Cesaro push coming. But actually, I love it when I'm wrong, Wrestling becomes, unfortunately, especially for someone who watches it so often and for so long because it's predictive. So when I'm proven wrong, I love it. So I was kind of expecting Cesaro to win. When Seth won, I said, "Oh wow!" Like I'm happy when I'm surprised. I'm pleased when I'm wrong. KO was on commentary for the match. That was good. He's entertaining on commentary. I don't think he, would be good doing it full time yet. In the future, I can see him doing that. But it's good to have him in doing one match. He had a lot of history between the two guys wrestling, so that worked. This match also was long, and I've noticed SmackDown usually has the longer matches. It seems to be that SmackDown is the more wrestling-focused show compared to Raw, which is interesting because Raw is the 3-hour show. You think they want long matches on Raw to fill up time, but SmackDown will have like 1 or 2 really long and usually good matches, and then Raw will have, a lot of the Alexis silliness or a lot of backstage vignettes and stuff, or the VIP lounge, a lot of talk show segments. Don't be wrong, SmackDown did it too. SmackDown would have Ding Dong Hello and all that, but SmackDown seems to be where they let the wrestlers in-ring work be spotlighted a little bit more. And then we have Rollins, I think, giving a backstage interview, and he mentions Roman in his promo. And he's been mentioning Roman in his promos a lot lately. Not sure where they're going with this. Are we eventually going to see Rollins versus Roman? It would be a heel versus heel match because I don't see either one turning anytime soon. So I'm not sure where WWE SmackDown is going with that, but I'm intrigued. I personally like to see it. I don't really necessarily expect it because they don't do heel versus heel too often. But at the same time, like I said, I liked it when I'm surprised and proven wrong. Quick comment on Otis. Otis is now a heel. I was a little skeptical because he's like kind of literally a baby face, and the caterpillar worm thing got over. He was, he just screams baby face to me. But it's it's starting to work. It may work after all. It's starting to grow on me. I actually think Otis is a better heel than Chad Gable. Chad Gable, he is a literal babyface. He's doing pretty good. He kind of reminds me of when Kurt Angle was a heel, and I'm sure he's inspired by and influenced by Kurt Angle. But yeah, Otis as a heel is starting to grow on me. I think getting rid of the beard has helped, and he's actually got some good facials. So, interesting to see where that goes in the future. We get Edge in the ring, doing an in-ring promo, and he opens the promo with some awkward joke about the Usos and Romo being registered anywhere. That just kind of had me go, huh? Like, they're cousins. They're not a couple. So, like, is this an incest joke? Is this a homophobic joke? I don't know. It felt very like late 90s to me when, they would kind of do more of the homophobic type humor. I don't know. It didn't make sense, and it wasn't funny, and probably in hindsight shouldn't have been said. So then they have on the screen a side-by-side graphic, or not a graphic, but two stills of Edge using a piece of the chair on Roman, I guess, at WrestleMania, and was it Jimmy or Jay? It was, I can't recall. One of the Usos, and great facial expression. It's a great picture. All performers involved in those spots did a great job. The pictures got taken. Good stuff. Roman really takes his time coming out, and I like that. Kind of, make him wait. I'll deal with you on my time. A good heel touch. The Mysterio's showing up. A little bit of a surprise. I didn't necessarily see that one coming. Like I said earlier, I like it when I'm surprised. I thought it was a nice touch. And there was like a brief moment where it was just like chaos. We had the Mysterios fighting with the Usos, And then we had Edge and Roman battling in the ring, and they'd cut back and forth between the action between all 6 individuals. I liked it. It wasn't a match. We didn't have to make it a 6-man tag match, to end the show. It was just a chaotic battle, and it had a nice feel to it. Edge hits Jey Uso with a nice-looking spear, and then he does the piece of chair thing on him. Another good visual. But at the same time, Edge being the heel in this situation makes me feel like, once again, this is a face doing a heel move. And using a weapon, using a part of a steel chair to, not choke someone out, but, pull it against their face. Kind of heelish, but he's the face going into this championship match against Roman. But like I said, that's kind of the trend with WWE at the moment, is faces acting like heels. And then he goes back and forth and does it again to Jey, and then to Jimmy as well, and then I believe a third time to Jey. And then music hits and the show ends. So again, like I said, kind of heel action. And then I'm saying, what message is he sending? That he's going to do that to Roman? Roman's on the top of the ramp, looking kind of concerned. But as far as I know, it has been announced as a no DQ match, so he won't be able to use that piece of the chair to Roman. So I don't really understand the point of that. But there's a lot in WWE right now I don't understand. But so there we go. That was the final SmackDown from the Thunderdome. I'm recording this kind of the week after, and I've actually already watched Raw and did not enjoy Raw, so I'd rather not talk about it. All right, this has definitely been long enough. If you listened to the whole thing, thank you very much. Feel free to like and subscribe. I like wrestling. I will hopefully have more wrestling-related videos here on my YouTube channel. Please enter the comments if you agree, disagree. Love to hear other wrestling fans' thoughts. Just don't be jerks and dicks about it, to each other or me for that matter. Do it in a nice, civil way. Because if not, you're just going to be a face acting like a heel.